So Shabbat Shalom everyone. We are back again with a new parasha. Today we will speak about the PARASHA KORACH and also with the rebellion. So I hope you have read the parasha, you have spoken about the parasha, and it's very important to understand that our life, first of all, we should understand that when we read the parasha, it's not about others, it's about ourselves. Our journey started with our birth. This is our journey. It doesn't matter if we are born in a Catholic family, if we are born in a Christian family, if we are born in a Hindu family, whatever. But our journey starts with our birth. And it goes on until the Almighty decided our journey is finished. During this time, we have many choices to make. Unfortunately, many of us do not understand what is the way of life. And if Elohim has brought us back to his Torah, which is a word of truth, we should take time to scrutinize our own life, not the life of others, but our own life. Because here the purpose is in the Torah, as we're going to see, is to change ourselves, work on our midot, character trait, and to remove all kind of bad habits, called bad habits, klipot, which we have accumulated in our life from our youth. And we should understand that it is very important. So we should understand that we need to work on it. And it's not so easy because the best way is to hide ourselves. We don't want to look in the mirror and to see all our shortcomings. We prefer to imagine that we are okay with ourselves, okay. And many times it causes us trouble. We are the source of our trouble. And Elohim is patient with us, because today we have an advocate in the heavens. This is Yeshua, our Adon, our master. Before it was not so, it was Moshe. Moshe was there for the people. They could see him. They could see him and choose what they do to follow, like we have seen in the form parasha with Caleb and Yeshua, the son of Nun, or to rebel. And today we see in the PARASHA KORACH a rebellion which is based on jealousy and feeling that these people were the equal to Moshe. They were the equal to Moshe. Moshe, we should remember, was the redeemer of the house of Israel, the whole chin of Israel. He was a redeemer physically. And he's the one, by the power of Elohim, who brought them out from Mitzrayim, Egypt, the house of bondage, to bring them into the promised land. This land was promised to Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. But as we see, during these 40 years, there was a lot of trouble for Moshe, and he had to bear the burden of all the people. He was a real redeemer, because he never moved. He never moved. He kept going, trusting Yehovah. And so we should be also. We are the leader in our own life, no others. no other. We are the leader in our own house. I repeat it, because this is what we have to understand. We are many in the body of Mashiach. We are many. We are all, as far as we believe for others, we are called into the kingdom of Elohim, and no one is superior. We have one master. His name is Yeshua. We are all brothers and sisters, and we should regard one another with a lot of respect. This was not the case here in the PARASHA KORACH. In the PARASHA KORACH, there was people who have bad intention because they were jealous of Moshe, and they accuse him. They go so far that we see the Reubenites, Datan and Abiram, told Moshe that and compare Mitzrayim, Egypt, as a land flowing with milk and honey. They want to go back. They want to go back, and so we have to understand. So they accuse Moshe to have take control over them. But we should remember that we start with the book of Shemot, that Moshe never forced anything to be a leader. He didn't want. He even refused when Elohim called him. He tried to find excuse not to be the one in charge. Remember, he said, look, I am somebody I have poor lips. I cannot speak properly. It is Elohim who forced him. He wanted him to be, because Elohim knew the heart of Moshe. He has never made his own decision. He was patient, and even, as we have seen in the last parasha, he endures the 40 years in the wilderness, not because of his own mistake, because of the mistake of the children of Israel. Not even the 10 who rebelled during their tour in Canaan. 10 people brought a bad report, consequences, 40 days in Canaan, 40 years in the wilderness. So many were affected by that. We should learn that we must be careful in what we are doing, in what we are speaking toward one another. Here we speak about leadership. Yes, they told Moshe that every one of them in the camp, all the children of Israel are kadosh, are set apart, are the sons of Elohim. Yes, it's true. But nevertheless, Elohim has put Moshe as a head. And that this is also that we have to understand. So Moshe was entrusted with the Torah of Elohim. He didn't make his own Torah. This was given to him face to face by Elohim. And so we need also to learn in our daily life that we have a master. We have a master in the name of Yeshua. And we should do what he says. We should follow him and imitate him in the way to walk the Torah. If you read carefully the Brit Hadasha, especially the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Yohanan, we will see that Yeshua never replied to a bad words. He kept his mouth. He kept his mouth, and he followed because he knew his call. And if we know our call, we will do the same. We will imitate our master, our Adon, Yeshua. And this is very important. And we see that in his parasha, that after the rebellion, the consequence was terrible. That people die. They die because of the rebellion. They wanted to have a proof. Moshe told them, listen, if I am the one who make up all this story, nothing will happen. But if Jehovah makes something supernatural, and he say what he will do, that he open the earth to swallow the wicked, the rebellious, then you will see that it is Elohim who has chosen me. And so it happened. People die. And after that, we see that the next day, many from the children of Israel came to Moshe to accuse him again. And the consequence was terrible, because thousands of people died because of this rebellion. This is not a story. This is an attitude. And this happened today in many ways. Or you will say, oh, okay, but we don't see people dying. No, you don't see people dying. They're already dead. They're already dead because they refuse to walk with Elohim. They refuse because they're upset at this one, they're upset at this one, they're upset at this leader. But we have learned that. We have learned that we should be wise in our choice. And if we are not wise, we will suffer the consequence of our choice. Dying today is also a spiritual way. When Moshe came in the first century, Paul explained us that there is a change. He explained that in the 1 Corinthians 15, if you read it, he said that the first Adam was of the flesh. The second Adam was a life-giving spirit. This means we are regenerated when we walk in a way that pleases Elohim. And we should ponder about that and look at our action, not others, our action. Every day we should make an introspection before we go to sleep, and to confess if we have done something which is not in the way Elohim has planned it for us. We should confess and say, Father, forgive me for whatever sin I have done before thee today. You see, and remain humble. Remember, Yeshua said in Matthew 23:12, he said, whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. We don't need to exalt ourselves. It is a work of Elohim. Elohim will make a way if he has planned something for us. Otherwise, we should remain humble. And humility is not something that we fake. Humility is really a part of the nature of the Mashiach. So if we want to imitate our Master, we must pray. Pray to our Father in heaven that he remove from us boasting and pride and give us the spirit of humility and servanthood. We pray until we see the change in our life. Not one time, not two times, but again and again, again and again, until we see the real change in our life. We have confrontation with people because we are not on the same level. There is no question to be superior to another. It is just a question to understand that in our walk, some started 20 years, 25 years ago, some started 3 years, 5 years ago, so we cannot be on the same level. This does not mean that we are superior. Nobody is superior. Nobody. It's just a question of understanding. Because the Torah is a tree of life, and we need to grow. And in the beginning, we receive the milk until we are able to absorb the meat. And when you absorb the meat, it is a greater understanding. Again, it has nothing to do to make somebody superior or not. We have no other way. We have one Master. And we should never forget. When we see people, it is a new challenge for us. We have to understand that every time we meet somebody, it is the will of Elohim for us, in order that we grow. Every challenge we face is an opportunity for us to grow. Every challenge. For Shaul say, everything works for good to those who love Elohim. So whatever situation, there is no random situation happening in our life. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose in our life. We need just to understand what is going on and not to rebel. We see that Moshe decided to put the roles of every one of the tribes, the head of the tribes, and the rod of Aaron, to make a choice, to show them something. And we see that it was the rod of Aaron who budded and even brought fruits, almonds. So we need to understand that Aaron was a chosen one. He was chosen by Elohim. Remember when Moshe left Midian, it is Aaron who came to meet him in his way back to Mitzrayim. And so we see again, here we have somebody, Aaron, who is chosen by Elohim in the position of the high priest. We never see Moshe acting as a high priest. We see Moshe as a redeemer. We see Moshe as a leader. But we see Aaron as a high priest. Now, the high priest is after the order of Levi, as we know. And our master, our Adon Yeshua, is priest after the order of Melchizedek. So you will say, oh, it is not the same. You know, it's not the same. The sages of old say that Melchizedek was Shem, one of the sons of Noah. Shem was who met Abraham. So what is the purpose? There is a shift. We need to explain. Today, because the expiation of sin need the mediator. The mediator is in Israel the high priest, the Kohen Hagadol. He is the one who is the instrument for the expiation of sin, as we see in Yom Kippur. And this is very important to understand. Since 70 AD, there is no more temple. So the office of the Kohen is no more, has been suspended until the time will come back for the third temple. But until then, there is no temple. So now, in the heavens, we have another priesthood, which is after the order of Melchizedek. So Yeshua is our mediator. He is in the same position like Moshe. He's the one who intercedes before Elohim in case we fell short, because Elohim loves us and he wants us to progress in our life. When Mashiach comes back, maybe soon in our days, and for this we pray, then he will come and he will be enthroned as the king of all the earth. And he will receive the scepter. Remember, if you go to Bereshit chapter 49, when Yaakov gave the blessing to all his children before he died, the scepter and authority came upon Yehudah. So Yeshua, our Adon, is from the tribe of Yehudah, and the scepter of authority will return to his hand when he comes back. So, but the Kohen will get back their position to make the service in the temple. So, we will have back the service of the Levites. The Levites will serve again Elohim, and Yeshua will be king of all the earth. And Yeshua has never chose his position. Like Moshe, he received the position, it is written, if we read in the book of Philippians, in the book of Philippians, it's written, why does he receive this position? Because of his obedience. His obedience even unto death. Even unto death. It was not before that he received the authority. The offering of Yeshua, he offers his life for you and me. Moshe offered his life for the children of Israel. He never lived for himself. Remember, he didn't want to be recognized as one of the Pharaoh's daughter's son, but he went to Midian because he wanted to be part of these people, the Hebrew. You see, we can see the parallel, and we want to understand that it is very important for us to acknowledge that Yeshua is our Adon, and to live before our Adon, not from Shabbat to Shabbat, but every day when we get up, to set ourselves ready for the day, to walk in the mind with a right spirit, to say, Father, thank you for this day, help me today to walk this way, to honor thee with all my life. And in the evening, before I go to sleep, to make to introspect our life and to see if there is something I have to bring to my Father. If I train myself in this way, then my life will become more clear and clear. The light will shine more and more. And this is what we have to do. So, if you want to know more, you can go to my blog. You can read about the PARASHA KORACH, where I go into details. But the mystery of a human being is our life. Our life is in a duality between the flesh and the ruach. The spirit man, which is in ourselves, the spirit man, want to follow Jehovah, but the flesh want to walk its own way. This is why Paul says, walk in the ruach, spirit, and you will not fulfill the desire of the flesh. The desire of the flesh are enmity against Elohim. And those who fulfill the desire of the flesh cannot please Elohim, cannot please. Because Elohim is ruach, is spirit. And he's seeking those who worship him in spirit and in truth. The truth. Yeah. So we have to understand. So I encourage you to walk in the spirit, to seek Jehovah with all your heart and with all your mind, to set yourself straight before Elohim, no matter what comes. Because at the end, we have the victory. We will not, it's not we will have, we have already the victory. We just need to stand and to encourage one another to have a good life according to the standard of the Torah, not according to the standard of the world. The world passed away, but the word of Jehovah remains forever. So I wish you...
You can continue. Shabbat.
What? Do you have a question? Yeah, if you have a question, you give a question, I will answer.
Korach.
Yeah.
So Korach was the leader, right? One of the leader who get jealous with jealousy.
He was the leader.
Yeah, he was a high official of Elohim. He was a high official of Elohim. But
he was in charge also of the tabernacle, but he was not happy with his position. So and that is already a wrong way.
Contentment. We have to learn what is
contentment. We learn in the Brit Hadasha, be happy with what you have. Don't look for other things. Moment may come that Elohim is able to change our life, bring people across our ways when we don't imagine. But if we are stubborn and disobedient, it will never happen. We will draw the opposite, because we are the one who construct our life in our mind. We construct our life, we build our life in our mind and by our words. This is why we have to set our hands before the mouth. Remember, in Proverbs it is written, death and life are in the power of the tongue. So, Speak life and not death. Speak life. Speak blessing to others. You want to see blessing? Speak blessing to others. If you have resentment against somebody, forgive. Forgive sincerely. Do not hold. Because if you hold you hold yourself. So we need to learn this process, and we need to be watchful. Watchful about our deeds, what we are doing. Every day, every single day. This is our life. And we need to understand that this life is not to be played or to have fun. No, we don't live a life of fun. We live a life of consecration. We live a life to be set apart. And the joy that we have, it doesn't come from man. It comes from above. It comes from Elohim himself. When your heart is overwhelmed with the presence of Elohim, then we taste the beginning of the joy of the Olam Abba. That's just a little taste. And we need to endure. We need to keep going and to have our focus set on Yeshua and on Elohim, and not to look that we are in competition with. We are not in competition with anybody. In this world, you have many so-called believers who have taken position for themselves. They have taken the position. They have never asked if they have the position. They have taken the position for themselves. If you want to battle with them, you're on the wrong side, because they will have always an answer. They will have always an answer. We don't have to battle. We have to look at our own position and say, Father, my life is in your hands. Whatever you want to do, you do it. You do it. And if Elohim has something, he will do it. But many will be disappointed because they have taken a position for themselves, and they are not able to assume their position. They put people in bondage by the false doctrine, with their words, with accusation against other assembly, and so on and so on. So we should be wise. If I am in such an assembly, it is toxic for my life, and I will not stay in a place where it is toxic. I will remove myself. I prefer to keep a Shabbat in my house, learning the Torah, praying, praising Elohim, than to go in an assembly just to say, oh, yes, hello, oh, brother, oh, hello. No, that's not something, it's nothing. Or to hear some elders or some leaders speaking badly upon others and saying, boasting themselves. Read the PARASHA KORACH, and you will see if it is the right things to boast. You see? So, my brother and sister, I insist on the point, if we are in an assembly that try to lift up itself above other assembly, saying that they are better because they do this way, because they speak the name this way, because they do that, because they baptize, and so on and so on. And there are many excuses, because they have the right calendar, because they do that better than the others. Then we are in the wrong place. We need to live. We need to live and to pray Elohim, to send people across our ways, will help us to grow in the perfect knowledge of His will. And I can assure you, it works. It works. It just takes patience. Patience. The right assembly might not be near your door, but there is an assembly, and Elohim is able to bring people across your ways. So be patient with yourself, and just be happy with your position. There is no low position and high position, but the position given to you by Elohim.
Responsibility is so high.
And further, when we grow, when we are established by Elohim, then we have more responsibility. And we should know what we are doing with this responsibility. We stand for truth, but we have no control, we have no authority over people. The flock belongs to Yeshua. He is the one who paid the price, not ourselves. Unfortunately, again, in many assemblies, they boast themselves and think that the people belong to them, like an object. They never serve as an intention to serve Elohim. They serve themselves, their own glory. So be careful with this position. You have any question?
I don't have any question.
So anyway, as I say, you can go to my blog. We will put it the link and read the PARASHA KORACH.
No, we can discuss if you want.
And so I wish you a good week. Shavuot Tov. A good month. We just started the 4th month. And we should need an to introspect ourselves, to know what is the purpose of my life, what I am doing here, and be honest with ourselves. If we have in the past fell short because we have been moving with other people in an assembly, we should just ask Elohim to forgive us. Remember, Yohanan explained, and first Yohanan, he explained that if anyone sin, he shall confess his sin, and Elohim is good to forgive us and to cleanse us from every unrighteousness. So we don't have to worry about that, to trust Elohim, because Elohim loves his people. He loves his creation. So we need to understand that. Okay? So be blessed and see you in the next parasha or next video. Shalom, everyone. Be blessed.
Shalom.